Hello, guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I just quickly had to attend to something, so I'm here now. All right. So, about three of us submitted our assignments, and I must actually commend you. You guys did a wonderful job, right? You guys did a
Okay.
wonderful job. Okay, you are saying you cannot hear. Sorry, I was actually away. I went to attend to something, right? So, we'll just quickly go through what we did. That is the assignment. Then today we are going into the intermediate level, right? But for us that actually joined yesterday, I've actually made it in such a way that you can also still follow up, all right, with the intermediate and possibly advanced. Is that okay? So this is like a 3 days project we've done for yesterday, we are doing for today, and we also do for tomorrow. So at the end, you must definitely come up with something tangible as far as Microsoft Excel is concerned. That's what I'm promising you. So for the tax, we have which one did I even give you? I think this one, right? Was it this one I gave to you? All right, so this was the first tax. Okay, someone is raising up his hand. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I booked for intermediate, but I realized from what I'm seeing is like for the beginners. So like the intermediate and the beginners can like collaborate and work together.
Yeah, like before we get to this, actually today's class, I've actually arranged it. Can you see my screen? This is today's class
So,
for intermediate, right?
so,
But before we can go into today's class, I want us to briefly look at what we did yesterday with the beginners class.
okay.
Is that all right?
So,
All right. So we now go ahead to look at this. So this actually was what I gave us yesterday, and we were just asked to find the line total. So it's as easy as hitting equal to this multiply by this, and you hit enter, and you should be able to get your answer. All right. So there's no need of referencing C4 absolutely. Okay, there's no need of referencing it absolutely. Once you just do the multiplication, you are good to go. You can just go ahead to replicate down the group, and you should see your several answers. All right. Hope this clarifies it. All right. Okay. So there's no need of referencing absolutely. Just very simple step. Just B4 multiplied by C4. Then you can go B5 multiplied by C5. But I told us that it's easier for us to do what replicates down the column. There's no need of doing it one at a time because Excel is smart. There's no, it actually understands that, okay, it will now pick the next value from the next row and the next column as the case may be. So this was the first assignment. Then the second assignment was this. First, we are asked to calculate the sales. Then eventually, we are asked to calculate the sales tax. All right. So for the sales, what we are expected to do is to multiply this and this. Then the answer we get will now multiply by what? Some 0.5%, which is the sales tax, right? But the 7.5% will now be referenced absolutely by introducing the dollar sign. So just watch me as we do it together. So equal to the sales is the unit price multiplied by what? The quantity. Then you should get your answer. All right. Then I can just drag it down. Either double click at this point or you drag down. Is all right. So I'm just going to drag down because that's what we learned yesterday. Or we can just double click here. All right. So you cannot learn it all at the same time. So that is why I'm introducing this as we move. Okay. Now to calculate for the sales tax, we just have to start with what? Equal to this D4 multiplied by what? This cell here, which is F2, right? Then hit enter. Definitely it will give you the right answer, right? But if you want to drag down, your answer will eventually not be correct because this particular tax is to be applied to each of the sales that has been made. Hope that is clear. So yesterday we learned to reference absolutely. You just introduce your dollar sign by hitting what? Shift 4, all right? Or just typing in the dollar sign, as the case may be, in front of F and in front of 2. Okay? So once you introduce your dollar sign in front of F and in front of 2, you hit enter. Then you can now replicate down the column. All right. So there's a faster way of introducing the dollar sign that I didn't mention to you yesterday. So the faster way of introducing the dollar sign is to select this particular F2, right? Just select it. Then either hit what? Alt F4 or F4 in some, sorry. Either hit what? F4 or Alt F4 in some keyboard, right? But my computer is just F4. Some computers, it will require you to hit what? Hold down Alt, then press what? F4, right? Some computer is just F4. But if you just press F4 on my computer, it actually does the add the dollar sign for you automatically, right? But before you can add the dollar sign, just hitting the F4, you must make sure you select that particular cell, right? Then hit what? F4. It adds that for you. Before we continue, I want to know if you have any question before we continue. You can type, you can raise your hand, then I'll unmute you.
Yes, sir. My question is based on the line total. Even in my own, the assignment I did, the total is still reflecting an error sign. So it's that one I want.
Okay,
yes.
the line total.
So how can I reflect? Yes. How can I reflect the dollar sign?
Okay, how can you
reflect the dollar sign on it?
Okay, apply the dollar sign. Okay.
Sign.
Oh,
yes,
sorry,
yes.
That was an oversight. It's actually very easy, right? So if you notice the, all right, let me let's hear from who was raising up his hand again. Okay, Simon said good to go. Okay, so once you select that particular, there are different ways of applying the dollar sign though. So, but when you select that particular cell, all right,
yes.
where you, this particular section where you have number, you see that this guy has been formatted as what? Currency. Okay. Now you can quickly just hit the dollar sign here, right? And it will change it to what? Dollars. Okay. Or if you want to go follow the long method, you can just come here, click on currency, and it will bring out another new, like, okay, sorry. When you come to go to more number formats, it will bring out another new menu for you. Can you see what's on my screen? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So here you can now select the symbol, either Naira or, like some of you that probably don't know how to locate Naira, you can actually see different Nigerian Naira there. I seen Hausa, Ibibio, Kanuri, and all that. Okay, so this is actually where to do that. Also here you can set the decimal places, and there's a whole lot you can do here. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any more questions? Okay, Joshua. All right. Yeah, I can go ahead.
Okay. Apart from the currency.
Yes.
Dollar and other this. What about other currency that you want to like apply to, like maybe you want to like insert in the this using?
All right, we can actually apply other currency like pounds or Japanese yen or Ghana cedi. All right, just the same way we did it. So what you just need to do is click on this arrow, okay, then come to more number formats. Or if it's very long for you to do, look at this particular place that shows this arrow at the bottom right corner of this section. All right, so just click on it and it should bring this same guy out for you. Now, we are under currency. Then we want to format this particular currency to maybe another kind of maybe currency for either Japanese yuan or yen or something. So the one that is active now is the dollar sign. I also noticed that you can also increase the number of decimal places and reduce the number of decimal places all here. So, but I want to change the currency. Just click on this drop down arrow here. Okay. So one thing Excel have done that is not very efficient for me is that they do not allow us, or there's no provision for us to expand this particular drop down. So you are limited to, or there's a limit to what you can see, but you just have to work with that. So you just keep on with your mouse, just be going down until you see the right currency that you want to use. So you notice that this is Chinese, Singapore, you have English, Canada, dollar sign, then you have French, Canada, and all that. So you just keep on going down. There are a whole lot of this English pound, this pound, and you have all this. So there's a whole lot of currency you can choose. This Nigerian own, okay? These other ones that look like euro, okay? So you keep on going down. There are tons of it. There are tons of it. So if I can even select that for India, and once you are through, just hit OK. I to select it for you. I think India uses a rupee. Is that not? I think, is it rupee? Okay. Someone else is okay. So does that answer your question, sir? All right. So okay. So let's continue. So because we've actually applied the referencing here, you can just double click here and to do the math for you. So in each instance, you notice that what F2 is constant for this particular sales tax row. Is okay. F2 is constant. So that is actually how to go about that particular tax that I gave to you yesterday. Okay. Then this one. Okay. Okay, I didn't give you this one, right? What you do here is after today's class, you just do it as a tax also. End of the week take home. So compulsory weekly contribution is what 500. All right. So for end of the week take home for Mr. Sani will be what 4,000 minus 500. You'll get the answer here. All right. The next one will be what 6,000 minus 500. You get the answer here. So you notice that what 500 is constant. So you reference the cell absolutely. But in this case, it will be this minus this, you get the answer. So if you have any question regarding this work, let me know before we continue. Type go ahead so that I'll go to today's work, please. Type go ahead so that I'll head on to today's work. All right. Okay. Want us to progress, just type progress. Okay, go ahead. Yes. Are we together, please? Let me know if we are together. All right, so we can go ahead. Now, I have intermediates, okay? So we've just recapped what we've done yesterday. Today we'll be looking at data summary. So data summary is a way of you have large chunks of data, then you kind of summarize it using formulas and functions. Okay, so data summary are going to be having a little intro. So from there, we'll now build on what we have. So what we have here is just a little data that says what set 1 and set 2. Okay, so from this data, we are going to count the number of data that we have here. Then we have to use the count A function to find the total number of data that we have here. We will have to use the COUNTBLANK function. All these are functions in Excel. Is all right? All right. So please let me quickly explain something before we continue. In Excel, we have functions and we have formulas. All right. The functions are already built into Excel. the functions are already built into Excel, but the formulas is now the combination of the functions and arithmetic operators to come up with what? The answers that you need. Is that okay? So like what we've been doing here all this while, we've been actually entering what? Formulas, all right? We've actually not entered maybe a particular function. Okay, now look at an example of a function, the sum function. Is it okay? So this particular sum function is a keyword that has been saved in Excel, but the total or the whole of this is a what? A formula. All right. So the whole of this is a formula, but this particular keyword here, sum, is a what? Function. Hope that makes sense. Right. So if you come here, what we have here is what? A formula. Right. So we've been working with formulas all this while. So we are going to be introducing ourselves to some functions. Okay. So what will happen is that I'll do this one. Okay, we'll do this one together. Then as your assignment, you do this one yourself. All right, so just pay attention. It's very easy. So the count function actually counts the number of data in a particular. Is the meeting on? Because everything is mute in my place. Joshua, if you can hear me, let me know. The meeting is on, so but everybody is muted so that we can concentrate. There won't be any distraction. All right. So please, okay, you can hear me. Can any other person confirm if they can hear me? Let me know if I can continue. Okay. So please, Joshua, confirm that you can hear me so that we can continue. All right. I can hear you, Simon. I've seen that. Victor say good. Maria say good. All right. So please, you can also check your network, your connection to see if everything is good. All right. So for the count function, remember I said that summary set one. So everything we are going to be doing for this summary is under set one. So eventually when you are doing yours, you are going to be working with data here. All right. So we are going to be working with data in this set one, that is column A. So to use the count function, you start with what? Equal to count. All right. So you type in what? Count. Now, you notice that several Excel functions comes up, but the one that we are interested in is what? The count. And if you can read, you will notice that it says what? Counts the number of cells in a range that contains what? Numbers. All right. So for the count, it counts the number of cells in a range that contains what? Numbers. So if that cell contains letters, it will not do what? It will not count it. Does that make sense? Right? So you just double click it and it will now select it. Okay. So you now select the range of values that you want to count. Because we are counting the range of values for set one, I'm going to select my range from A2 all the way. I'm dragging now all the way to what? A12. Is that okay? So once you get to A12, you hold down Shift and press what? The close bracket to close your bracket, then hit what? Enter. All right. So what this count function does is to count the cells that has what? Numeric values. All right. So if you can count it manually, you notice that what? You have 9 cells that has what? Numbers in it. This cell has data in it, but it is not number. So it will not count it. That is, the count function will not recognize it. Okay. So it also count this. It's also count this. Now, this might look easy to achieve. You will now say, why can't we count it manually? But in the real world, you are not dealing with small data as this. Okay. So when we learn to implement in the real world. Okay. So make sure that you have a bigger picture in mind. So please let's know if you understand so that we can continue. Okay, Manessa say you cannot hear me. All right. Suleiman, can you hear me? Let me know. One other thing you can do, Manessa, is to log out and log in back to see if it helps. Okay. If you cannot hear, just log out. Just you can just leave the class, then coming back and I'm sure it will fix that. Okay. All right. So we now go ahead to look at the second function. All right. So the second function is the count A. So please, what I'm doing here is the same thing you do here. So it's very simple for you to implement. Is that right? So equal to count A. So I'm going to type in the count A. So once it come up, I'm going to select it by double clicking on it. All right. Or you can type it completely. So when you double click on it, it's actually automatically. Are we together? Can you all hear me now? All right. So it actually automatically brings up the open brackets. Then you now select the range of values that you want to count. So what the count A means is what? It counts all, both numeric and the cells that actually have letters in it, or words in it, or any form of what? Character in it. So when you finish, you close it up and hit what? Enter. So in this case, it counts all the cells that has content in it. Is all right. So this cell has numeric value. This one has what? A word which is high, or a combination of letters. So it also counts it. All right. So counts all actually counts everything that has content in it. Okay, that is the difference between count all and what? Count. All right. So you notice that this cell doesn't have any content in it, so it's what? Skip it. So the count blank, what it just does is exactly as the name says, it counts all the cell that has blank content in it. Right. So supposing you are in an organization that is actually trying to find out how many people missed a particular day in a week. So you can just use the count blank to count the number of people that missed a particular day in a week. Okay, so there are different applications. Okay, so one other thing I will encourage us to do is after these classes, you can also go ahead to check out how or more examples of how this can be used in the real life. Okay, because that is how you can better understand. I have one big gift for us at the end of this session, that is after tomorrow's class. So please anticipate and remind me in case I forget. That is actually going to help you eventually. So you have what? Equal to count blank. All right, so you notice count blank is already here. So you select it by double clicking and it brings up this. Then you select the range. So the range is this. Remember, I'm not touching set2 data because set2 data is for you. So once you are finished, you close up and hit what? Enter. So it's trying to tell us that the cells that doesn't have content in it is what? 1. All right. Also notice that in Excel, when you hit what? Space, that is the space on your keyboard. All right. It actually counts it as something. Okay. So hope all of us can just understand this. That is, Excel actually recognizes space. That is like the space between words, or the space that exists between words. Excel recognizes it as a what? Data. So supposing in this cell A6 now, cell A6 is what? Empty. But supposing I just go ahead to hit space on my keyboard, all right, and I hit what? Enter. I've hit space on my keyboard now. That's why you notice that the cursor is blinking now. Once I hit enter, you now notice that the count blank is now recording what? 0, because that data, that particular cell now has content, which is what? Space. All right. Okay. Now the count all is now recording what? 11. Before it was what? 10, because it's also recognizing that cell A6 now has what? Data. I'm going to press Ctrl Z on my keyboard to undo what I've just done, and we'll continue with the other functions. So for average, which some of us know as what? Mean, or you know it as what? MEAN, mean. So you type in what? Average. Sorry, every Excel formula is specific and equal to. So average. So you have what? Average. Then select the range of cells. So all of us know what mean does for us. All right, so it calculates the total number of outcomes divided by the outcome. All right, so you now close it up and hit what? Enter. It does the average for us. So also for median, so each one of them, you just call it by the name shown. So you select the total, all right? Close up your bracket and hit what? Enter. It calculates the median. So the median, I think, what is the median? I think the number that is in the middle, right? If arranged in ascending or descending order. Is that what the median is? Or is that what the mode is? Okay. All right. So then the mode is what? So someone should help me out. What is the median? The median, is it the number at the middle when arranged in ascending or descending order? You can just type in to help me. So equal to, for mode, you just type in mode, then select this last guy here, then select the range of numbers, close it up and hit what? Enter. Now it's trying to tell us something. That's the median is the number at the middle, right? All right. Okay. So can we just delete this number and see if it give us, find the next one, which is what? The maximum value. All right. So which is what? Max. Then select the range of cells. Then close it up and hit what? Enter. So the maximum value in this cell is what? 96. All right. So also you go ahead to find the what? Minimum. All right. So the minimum value is what? You select the range of cells, close it, and it gives you the minimum value is what? 30. So the one that we'll be looking at that might look so new to us is largest and what? Smallest. Okay. So you can find the second largest number, the third largest number, the second smallest number, the third smallest number, or the first smallest number. Definitely the first smallest number is the smallest number, which is the minimum, right? Definitely the first largest number is the largest number, which is the what? Maximum. So because we've used max to find maximum, and because we've used max to find what? We've used min to find minimum. There's no need looking for the first and second. There's no need looking for the first largest number. There's no need looking for the first minimum smallest number. So how to use this formula is equal to what? You use what? Largest. So you start typing what? Large. All right. So the function large. Then it says what? Array. So the array, you select this range of cells, then hit what? Comma. Because from this argument, you notice that what? After array, there's a what? Comma. Then there's a K there, which is what? The constant. K stands for what? Constant. So this constant is where you now tell Excel that you're looking for the second largest number, the third largest number, the fourth largest number. In this case, we are looking for the second largest number. So you just type in what? 2 on your keyboard. If it's the third largest number, you type in what? 3 on your keyboard. Then hit what? Close it and hit what? Enter. So it's trying to tell us that 76 is the second largest number in this array. Does that make sense? So let us go ahead to change our 2 to 3 and to now find the third largest number for us, which is what? 72. So after 96, we'll have 76. So the third largest number is what? 72. Hope that is clear. So also in the same vein, we are going to find the second smallest number using the small function. We go ahead to select what? The range of cells, then hit comma. All right. Then you now go ahead to the constant is it the second smallest number or the third smallest number? So, but in this case, you are looking for the second smallest number. So you hit what? 2. Then you close it up and you hit what? Enter. So the smallest number is what? 32. So supposing I now go ahead to change cell A3 from 72 to maybe 15, you'll notice that my second smallest number will do what? Change. All right. So you notice that my smallest number will do what? Change. My second smallest number will do what? Change from what it was before to what it is now. And my minimum will change from what it was before to what? 15. Okay. So I'm going to undo what I've done before and we should be good. Please let me know if you understand this, because you are going to do this yourself as an assignment and submit to us in the group. Let me know if you understand. Can I go on? Okay, the mode is the highest frequency. Thank you very much, Suleiman. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Then the median is the number at the middle when arranged in ascending or descending order. Now, because there's no number that is repeating, that is why probably we'll have what? No mode. Okay, let's do something here. Let's do something here. Let's say we'll have two guys appearing 2 times. Let's say we'll have 32 and we'll have another 32 here. Let's see if we'll have mode here now. Okay, so we now have a number mode appearing highest. All right, so big up to Suleiman. Thank you for helping us out on this. All right, so this actually makes sense now. So guys, hope we are cleared. So the mode is the highest number or the highest frequency of item. That's the number appearing the most times. All right, so why we could not find the mode is because there was no number repeating. So I just made an adjustment to our array or our range of values so that 32 is appearing more than the others. And the mode now has value. Okay, so I'm just going to undo this. There's no mode, not applicable because there's no number appearing more than once. So thank you. I appreciate this. So that shows we are working together. Any more questions before we go ahead to the next function that we have? All right, so Zoom is telling me that I have 1 hour 25, 1 minute 25 seconds before this class ends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this class and I'm going to resume it again. So what you just do is to join back the class immediately. Is that okay? So we already have 40 minutes and we've elapsed that 40 minutes. So I'm going to end this class and start it all over. So you just join immediately, just like we did yesterday. So see you on the other side.
Oh, sorry, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
When are we reconvening?
Just now. I just want to end it, then start it again. So this is just the intro to data summary. All right. So for the data summary, it's all about using the count A, count blank, average, median, mode. There are a whole lot of other things you can do. All right, but this is just like a comprehensive list. So this class is such that it will kind of equip you, whatever ground that you need to get started with Excel, it will actually lay the foundation for you. Okay, you are not in a typical classroom, so there won't be any test or exam. Right, what is most important here is for you to understand what is happening. Is all right? So we go ahead. The next one we are going to be looking at is the data summary with criteria. Okay, so the data summary with what criteria. So in this case, there's a criteria attached to what we are looking at. So the first one here is the COUNTIF, the COUNTIF function. So the COUNTIF function actually counts the number of items that are within a range given a particular criteria is satisfied. All right. So if in a particular class, I want to count the number of boys, I am now start counting the number of boys. So, but the criteria will be count the number of boys that their name start with what? J. Okay. So counting the number of boys that their name start with J. The name starting with J is a what criteria. So I'll now pick what? John, Joseph, Julius, and all the JJJ kind of names. So I can also come in the class and I'll now say, count the number of girls that their name start with what? Maybe S or something. So the criteria is what? S in this case. So that is the little explanation about COUNTIF. Okay. So we are going to do this. So, okay, all right, look at this. So it says what? Find out the number of times that the following criteria appears on the table. Okay, so the first one is what? Jones. Jones is under this particular column that says what? Client's name is what? we have Smith, Jones, Smith, and all that. So this is actually a data set which says on sales data. I'll have different dates, the clients, the products, the colors, and the units. Is that okay? So I don't know, is the internet fluctuating? I think some people are dropping out. Okay, so but we'll have to just continue, right? So find the number of times that the following criteria appears on the table. So the first one is what? Jones, right? The second one is what? Smith, hearts, coats, white, blue. Okay, so just pay attention as we see how we can use the count if function. All right, so the count if function. If you notice, I've not actually prepared any form of material because all these things is not something you need to cram, right? It's something you need to what? Understand, right? So the only material that I have is this particular workbook because after everything, I still send it over to you and it is yours, okay? Because once you finish working with it, it's on your computer, it's on your mobile device. It's okay. Then, so to use the count if function, the formula that is used, the function for the count if function is what? Count if, just like the name is. So to count how many times Jones appear in this particular table, I think I should just move the whole of this here so that I'll be able to see it completely. So I'm going to cut it and place it here. All right, so that we're able to see it. You don't have to be scrolling up and down. So find the number of times that the following criteria appears on the table. So for Jones, we start with equal to count if, right? So in advance, that is for tomorrow, we'll see how we'll use what count ifs. But for today, we'll use what count if. Now, whenever you are typing in a function in Excel, please pay attention to the syntax, all right? So the syntax is how the formula is structured, okay? So look at what we have here. I mean, the formula bar, just take a look at what we have here. So you have what? After count, if you have what? A range. So the range is trying to tell you, okay, select the range where you want to apply your function, all right? Then the criteria, all right? Now, one other secret I want you to understand is your range will always be selected where your criteria is as far as count if is concerned. Your range will always be selected where your criteria is as far as count if is concerned. All right. So someone is raising up his hand. Joshua is raising up his hand. So I've just unmuted you now. So let me hear what you want to say.
Okay, sorry. There's something I want to understand.
Please,
I realize that when you have a cell in Excel sheet, and you want to like maybe put dates of birth or a bit of calculation, I find it very, very confusing to like how do you do the plus and minus to like set up, because like when, okay, let's assume maybe you are putting a phone number.
Okay.
When you are trying to put a phone number, there are instances whereby some cells, like when you write 080, you see that at the end, when you finish, you see that it omit the first zero.
Okay.
It omit the first zero, or maybe when you make a calculation, maybe you are putting a range of ages for something, maybe a list for a table, maybe a tabulation for something, and there are range of ages. There are times that maybe when you put some age, it will not give you the exact number that you want. So like the calculation, how do you come about that calculation when you add at the top of the distance? I don't really know how to put it. This is where I find it very, very confusing to like come up with the calculation of how to like set up that thing. Is there a way you do it, or it works automatically?
Okay. So Joshua,
sir,
I really understand your question. All right.
Okay.
So in order not to digress, can we answer the question at the end of the class, please?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Any other person?
Thank you, sir.
All right, so let us continue. So the count if, Joshua's question is actually a very wonderful one, because sometimes when you're entering data in Excel, you have to define the kind of data format that it is, whether it is a numerical data, whether it is a text data, whether it is a date and time data, whether it's a currency type of data, right? So we are going to answer that after we've looked at this. So for the count if, we'll start entering what I made mention, and I told you what the range where you're going to select your data is actually determined by what the criteria that you are looking for. So the criteria in this case is what Jones, okay? And Jones is found in the range where under the what client what column. Is that okay? So you will not be looking for Jones and you go and pick your range under the product column. You will not be looking for Jones and you go and pick your range under the what color column. The only time you're allowed to pick your range under color column is when your criteria is what either white or what blue. Hope this makes sense as far as using the count if is concerned. So for the range, remember, after range you have a comma, a little comma. That comma, you also have to introduce it in your formula. That is trying to tell you that you want to go to the next argument, right? So to some extent, Excel is like what programming, because when I mention argument, it's kind of some of the basic terms you use when you are maybe coding and all that. But that should not bother you. It's just trying to tell you that what when you finish with the first criteria, when you finish with the first option, you have to go to the next option, right? So count if, open brackets, the range is what from this B4 to what B16. Is okay? Then you hit what comma. All right. So comma is you are following how it is. All right. Don't go ahead and put full stop, because it's like a syntax. A syntax is something that is structured that you cannot alter. If you make an error to change the syntax, you get an error in Excel. Supposing I don't obey the syntax and I remove my comma that I put before and I put full stop, it will just be looking at me and it will just be waiting for me to hit enter to get my answer. Then it will now bring up one error, right? So make sure you follow the syntax. So the syntax here is after I've defined my range, I put what comma. So it will now ask me to do what? Define the criteria. Now, the criteria in this case is what? Jones. I want to find out the number of times that Jones appear within this range. Okay. Instead of counting it 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, count if can actually do the job perfectly for us. Is all right. So I now type in what? Jones. But before you can type in Jones, Excel does not understand maybe you typing in words just like that within it. Okay. So typing in Jones, I can just type in Jones like this. Sorry. I can type in Jones like this. Okay. Jones is the criteria and close it up. Now look at what will happen. Once I hit enter, it will tell me that what? 0. Okay. Now there's an error in what we've done. We are supposed to actually tell Excel that Jones is actually a text. And the best way to tell Excel that something is a text is to include it in speech marks. All right. That is to include it in speech marks. So speech marks is something that looks like this. That is the double quotation mark, not the single quotation mark, please. Yes. Okay, the double quotation mark, right? Please give me 1 minute. Let me just attend to something. But before I come back, just reflect on what I've done, then hit enter. So it's able to count that Jones is what? 6 in number. So I'm just going to highlight this cell and you look at the formula. Please, just 1 minute, reflect on what we've done so far. Okay, let us do the next one. Let us do the next task. So find out the number of times that the following criteria appears on the table. So the next guy we are going to find out the number of times it appears on the table is Smith. So you start with what? Equal to count if. So the lights that I just said they restored, they just took it back. Crazy. So we have the range. Then the range is still here because Smith is within this range. Then hit what? Comma. All right. Then you now input your criteria. But why inputting it? Because it's a text, it's text. You just have to include it in what? Speech mark. So I open my speech mark, then I type in what? Smith. Please, when you're typing in Smith, don't go and start using capital letter. Okay, type it exactly as it is. If it's capital letter, use capital letter. If it's small letter, use small letter. But here, our Smith is what? Capital letter S, then the others is what? Small letter. So after you are through with everything, close it, close the speech marks, then close your bracket, then hit what? Enter. So it's going to count the number of times that Smith appears in this. Is that okay? Then also that also goes for hats. Okay, I think I should even leave this one for you so that you just do. So for hats and also for coats. Okay, one other thing I want to make mention of is why doing the count if there's another way of actually inputting the criteria. So let's just use this last one for it. So COUNTIF. So COUNTIF, I select COUNTIF. So the range, so hats is under the product range. Okay, we are done with clients for now. So select the range, which is what? Under this, sorry, under this, okay? So select the range, comma. The criteria is what? Hats. So I can just click this cell where the hats is, okay? But make sure that when you are clicking the cell, the content of the cell is as exactly as it is on the table, okay? So this hats is actually exactly what is on the table. So I'll just select it. So in this case, I'm selecting the cell where the content is, then I'm closing it back, I'm closing it up. So in this case, I'm selecting the cell, but that and I'm not what introducing the speech marks, okay? So Excel actually recognizes that it is a cell, the content of the cell. But if you are not using the content of the cell, you have to do what? Input your speech mark. So I hit what? Enter. So it counts the number of times that hats appears. Is that okay? So I'm still going to find the number of times that Smith appears using this method that I just told us, that I've just shown us. Equal to COUNTIF, then the range, Smith is under what? Client. Then select it, comma, then the criteria is what? Smith. So instead of typing Smith, I just select the cell. So I close it and I hit what? Enter. So what I'm trying to do is just to show you that there are different ways of doing this, but it will still give you the same results. Hope that helps. So you're just going to find the number of times that coat appears, number of times that white appears, the number of times that blue appears. So type go ahead so that we can continue. If you have any question, you can ask now.
My question is there a way we can combine everything in a particular formula so that we can use a fill handle to get the other results as against typing it one by one, the way we did it yesterday?
Yes, there's a way, but in this case, the different criteria are like from different columns. Is that okay? So we have Jones, we have Smith from the same column.
Okay.
We now have Hats. That's why we are doing it separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's a very nice one. That's a very nice one. All right. So, any more questions? Can we go to the next one? All right. So the next one we are going to look at is what? SUMIF. So one of your tasks is also this. So complete this, okay, as far as the COUNTIF function is concerned. So just complete this. It's very easy, it's very simple. All right. Then so tomorrow we are going to look at COUNTIFs. So combine more than one criteria. So for today we'll look at what? SUMIF. Okay. So here we have the same table, but in this case we have clients, but there's something that's been introduced here, which is what? Cost. All right. So we are told what is the total cost sold for these colors? So what is the total cost sold for white? What is the total cost sold for blue? Right? So that we don't have to be scrolling, I'm going to copy this and bring it up. All right. So we are here. So what is the total cost sold for this? So what this actually implies is that wherever you have white, okay, that or they want us to use a function to find that is the total cost for wherever white appears, right? So you will have just used sum, supposing everything here is white, but there's a criteria, okay, which is what? The white color. So just sum up everything that has white. So there's blue here, jump blue, jump blue, jump blue. Okay, do this. All right, do this. So you use the SUMIF function. Here the criteria is what? Blue, use the SUMIF function. So I'll do one, you do one. So here I'll do one, you do one. It's very easy. Now, you start the SUMIF function with SUMIF. All right. So it says what? Adds the cell specified by a given condition or criteria. So now it says what? The sum, the range. Okay. So the range is always is always in the column where the criteria is. Is that okay? So the range is always in the column where the criteria is. The criteria here is what? White. So my range will be picked from this colors column. Is that okay? Why I'm telling you this is because for the SUMIF, we have two range. We'll have the first range and we'll have the sum range. Please don't mix the two. Because if you mix the two, you eventually get an error. All right. So for the SUMIF, the range is always in the column where the criteria is. Then the sum range is always numeric what? Data. The sum range is always numeric data. All right. So having clarified that, the range in this case is what? Which column has white now? The colors column. So I'm going to select the colors column. All right. So, sorry, I selected more than enough. So colors column. So it's my colors column is from D4 to what? D16. Okay. Then my, okay, comma. Then the criteria is what? White. Well, I cannot select this white because this white is capital letter, but the white we have here is what? Capital letter, then small letter. All right, so you have to be very, very careful when you just want to select this cell, else you get a wrong answer. So I'm going to impute my white just as it is on the table. So I open my opening speech mark, type in white just as it is on the table, close it up. All right, then hit what? Comma. So after you imputed your criteria, you hit what? Comma. All right. So then the sum range. All right. Okay. So the sum range, remember they say what is the total cost sold for these colors? Right. So the sum range is also the range, but now under what? Cost. Is that okay? So you select the range for cost. All right. So once you have completed this, you now close up your brackets. Okay, then you hit what? Enter. All right. Now, what this means is that what is not actually formatted as currency. So just type in, hit your $sign here, or click this drop down to select currency by default. So what this means is what? The white colors actually sold a total of what? $108,500, okay, or naira as the case may be. What it means, if you manually add this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this, it should give you what? 1,500. Please let us look at the formula again. So my mind is just telling me that I should just do everything, okay? Because this SUMIF is actually very interesting, so I don't get us confused. But let me just do the second one. so that we understand more. So equal to SUMIF. So the range is where our blue is in the colors column. So that is where our range will be selected from. So comma, our criteria is blue. So but cannot select that cell. We have to input the blue manually. So blue, you close with the speech mark, comma. Then the sum range is the cost column. All right. So the sum range is always numeric data. So you just close everything up, then hit what? Enter. Is that okay? Hope this is clear. Please type yes so that we can continue to the next one. Type yes so that I know that this is clear. Okay. Okay. So it says the next task we are faced with, it says what? So this guy said we'll have 10 minutes. It says what? How many units were sold by each of the following? Jones. How many units was sold by Smith? Okay. So we are still going to use what? SUMIF. The criteria here is what? Jones. And the criteria here is what? Smith. Okay. You can just go ahead to format your blue, your currency for this. Okay. So just hit the $ and you are good to go. So if you notice, this my $ is different from this other one. Okay. So this one is showing currency, this one is showing accounting. So I'm just going to put what, choose it as what, currency. All right. So for Jones, you start your SUMIF function equals to SUMIF. All right. So select your range. So your range is, where is Jones? Jones is in the client column, comma. Then your criteria is Jones. The way Jones is spelled here is the same way it is spelled on the table. So I'll select my criteria as Jones, comma, then have the sum range. So here they say what? How many units? So we are going to pick our sum range from the unit column. So not the cost column now. So hope this is clear. So once you've selected, you now close up and hit what? Enter. So Jones sold 31 units. So what it means is for every place that Jones appear, the total number of units that he sold is what? 31. So this is Jones, 877. This is Jones 1, Jones 5, Jones 5. All right. So 31. So you should be able to do this one for Smith. All right. Is that all right? So hope you are taking note of the ones I'm leaving for you. So here, this one here. So this is this one here. Then this is this one here. So it's 4 in number so far. So we have another SUMIF. All right. This another SUMIF that it shows what players, the team, the goals scored, and that. So we are asked to find the total number of goals scored by this team, Barcelona, the total number of goals scored by Man U, the total number of goals scored by this team, by this team. All right. So you use this SUMIF function to find that. All right. Someone before now asked us a very smart question. So what if you have a situation, must you be doing it one at a time? Okay. So we are going to answer that question with this example. Okay. All right, so we can continue. So here, what you just need is what? Equal to SUMIF. All right. So the range is what? Where under what column is Barcelona? Barcelona is under the team column. Okay, so you select your range from here. Okay, comma. Then your criteria is what? Barcelona. Okay, you can type Barcelona as it is, or you can select the cell Barcelona. All right. So to make our work easier, let us select the cell Barcelona. So the cell Barcelona is cell what? C18. Is that okay? I don't know why that guy is blocking it for us. So cell Barcelona is C18. Okay. Then hit what? Comma. All right, Suleiman, you say you can see my screen now. That's very good. Okay. So after you selected the cell C18, that's we have picked Barcelona because it is the same spelling as what we have on table. Then the sum range is, remember, we want to find the total number of goals scored. So you select this. Okay. All right. And I told you that the sum range is always numeric data. The sum range is always numeric data. So once you've selected it, you close your brackets and you hit what? Enter. So it's trying to tell us that Barcelona scored a total number of what? 56 goals. Okay. So what this is actually telling us is that what? Barcelona will have 42 goals scored by this guy. Okay. So in that same Barcelona will have 10 goals scored by this guy. In that same Barcelona will have 4 goals scored by this guy. All right. So of the total number of goals scored by Barcelona, that is what? 56. All right. So now we are going to use absolute cell reference so that we can be able to do what? Make our work easier. Just like, was it Suleiman that asked that question? How can we drag it down just like we were doing before? So what you just need to do in this case is to reference your ranges absolutely. Reference your ranges absolutely, since they are what? Constant. What changes is what? The teams in this section. Is that okay? So select the range, okay? Punch F4 or Alt F4 on your keyboard, all right? Punch F4, or does your keyboard have function key? It's actually supposed to be function F4, right? If F4 is not working, to add the $, you hit what? Function F4. Is that okay? All right. This my external keyboard doesn't actually have function. So, but I'm lucky because F4 works. All right. So I select the range, then I hit what? F4. All right. So it has automatically added $4 in 4 places for me, and accurately. Is that okay? So I select the second range and I hit what? F4. Okay. So having done that, you hit what? Enter. It doesn't change your answer. What it helps us do is that when we drag down, it will automatically do the calculation for us. Is Excel not smart? Is Excel not awesome? So it is. So I'm just going to drag down. Okay. So Man U scored what? 33 goals. So this other guy, Sunderland, scored what? 20 goals. Okay. So this other guy, Chelsea, scored what? 24 goals. So Madrid scored what? 58 goals. That is crazy. All right, but that is what it is. All right. So this is SUMIF in.
Okay, hello.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, from my understanding, like when you want to you are working on a sheet, on a particular sheet, maybe a new sheet, and there are a list of numbers, numeric, that you're going to use. You don't need to go one by one to be picking and be inserting in the cells. There is a way you would drag. But the question I want to ask is that this SUMIF, is it automatically programmed, or you are the one that will SUMIF, because I remember I saw you putting equal to, like in the other previous one that you were doing, you put equal to, then you come up with some figures. Like
Okay.
I don't really
no, like
yes,
if you want to enter this, if you want to call the SUMIF function, okay, you
yes,
enter equal to,
okay,
then the SUMIF is a word itself. So you start typing it on your keyboard. Then when you start typing it on your keyboard, see, I'm typing SUMIF together. So now it's the Excel will now bring two things for me. The first one is what SUMIF. Then the second one is what SUMIF with an S. That is SUMIFs.
Okay.
So you start typing it, then you now select the one that you want to use. In this case, which is what SUMIF.
Okay, sorry. If it is if the one without the S, what is the difference between the one without the S? So like it's plural. The other one is just a single one.
Yeah,
thank you.
The one without the S, which is a SUMIF, is the one we are looking at as far as this class is concerned. That is only one criteria. So the one with the S, it has several criteria. That is what we are going to look at tomorrow with some other things.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. That is a very good question. Any other question? Okay. So, but do you understand how we got our goals, total goals for?
Okay, now okay, now excuse me, sir. After writing the equal to, then the SUMIF, then if I'm like going for like a Man United now, if I'm going for like Man United,
yeah. If you want to calculate the number of goals scored by Man United.
For the Man United.
Yeah.
So now, like Man United is on a cell D.
Okay, let us go through it together.
Okay, sir.
Equal to SUMIF. Okay.
Okay.
So now you have to follow this thing that is under this place. Can you see this particular thing that is under the SUMIF?
Yes, I see range, criteria, sum range.
Thank you. One other thing you have to notice is that after range, there's a comma.
Yes.
Then have criteria.
Criteria, there's a comma also.
Then the sum range.
Yes, sir.
Is all right.
Which is in brackets.
Thank you. Very good. Now, the range is actually gotten where your criteria is. In this case, our criteria is what? Man U or Man United. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And our criteria is in this particular range where team is. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm just going to do is to select this particular range. All right.
Okay, but okay, that's you now like color the whole cells, then like copy it.
No, what I just do is like after now I want to select the range. You know, I'm holding a mouse. I click, I click on this first one.
Yes, sir.
Then drag down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Or another way of doing it is, I'm just going to delete what I've just done. Another way of doing it is, my range is from C3 to what? C14. Is that right?
Yes, okay, C3, number 14. Yes, sir. Okay, I get it.
C3 to C14.
Yes,
okay.
14.
So you can type it manually by entering what? C3. Okay.
Yes.
Then you, to make it C or pick a number within a range, you use your colon. That is your colon. That is dot dot.
Okay. Okay.
Then you now type in what? C14. It will now pick that particular range for you without you using your mouse. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I get it. Yes,
but
sir,
if you are using your mouse, it will be much easier.
Easier. You just drag it completely and just have.
What you just click the first place, then drag it to the last place. It will now select it for you.
So then, what is the effect of the brackets?
Yeah, the bracket is. Yeah, that is the bracket that opens it, right? This bracket here, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a mass. You are solving mass. So you have to like separate each of the terms from each other.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
just trying to tell Excel that, okay, SUMIF have started working. Then every other thing inside the bracket is what SUMIF is going to work with.
I get it, sir.
It's all right.
I get it.
So after
after
you define your range, you now hit comma, then enter your criteria, which is Man United in this case. Then you now hit comma again. Then the sum range is a numeric data. So I select the first one, then drag down like this. Okay. Or I can type in D3 to D14. So once I'm through, I close it up. That is, you close the brackets.
Yes, sir.
Then hit enter. So it will still give you the same thing.
Okay, sir. I get it, sir.
All right. All right. So I don't know who was the person that asked me about that phone number. Why is it that when you enter
it's me, sir.
Okay,
it's me, sir.
Okay. All right, very good. So let us quickly answer that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So as we're waiting for others, I quickly had to do this. All right, let me just increase the size.
Yes, sir.
All right, then bolding it. So I'm going to do this. So this is a typical phone number. Let me copy and paste here. All right, so I'm going to delete this. Is that okay?
Yes,
now,
sir.
Whenever you are entering data in Excel, all right,
Yes,
always,
sir.
if it is phone number, make sure that the phone number is formatted as text data. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Make sure that the phone number is formatted as text data. If it is formatted as general, you notice that it will remove that first zero from it. That it will not recognize it as it will not recognize it as a text. Right. Now look at what will happen here now.
Yes,
look at what will happen here now. Supposing I now copy this and I paste it somewhere here and I hit enter. Okay. Or let me just start typing 080. I think it's actually picking what I have there before. 080 392 maybe 0373. Okay. So is it complete?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3. Okay. One more remaining. Let me say 3. All right. So this is a typical phone number. If I hit enter, the first zero will go out. Is that not?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, but in this case, the first zero is going out because whenever I want to enter a number in Excel, it is the default value is always in general. All right.
Yes, sir.
So, but if I now format it as text, to format it as text, just click this drop down arrow, then select text ABC. Okay. When you select text ABC, then add your 0, then your 0 will remain. It will not be going out like before again.
I get it.
It's all right. So what
Yes,
you have to do before you start entering the data. If not, it will make you to, start formatting it one at a time after you finish.
One after the one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it will make the work cumbersome for you again.
Thank you. So it's very important.
I get it, sir.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other question.
Yes, sir. I'm still, but not on this thing, but there's still in maybe doing calculation, or maybe like maybe when you are computing names and the serial number, maybe you didn't, maybe you just listed a job without a serial number. So maybe when you put your 1, is there a way that like maybe you can drag and like it comes out with the serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 without you writing 1, then go to the next 2?
Definitely.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me just open a new worksheet here now. There's something that I would have wanted to show us how Excel is smart. Okay. Excel recognizes number patterns. So if I type 1 here and I type 2 here, it's okay.
Yes, sir.
Excel definitely know that the next one is going to be what? 3. Are you following me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you just select these 2, then you do what? Drag down. It's all right.
Okay, but now it must be at the cursor should now be at the right hand side of the numbers, because I've tried it and it didn't work.
Okay, look at what I did. Look at what I did.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I type in 1.
Yes.
I type in what? 2.
2.
Okay. Then what I did is I select the two numbers, not one of the numbers. I select the two numbers. Okay.
Okay.
Then at the bottom of this, then I drag down.
Okay, I get it.
Where you have this tick, please, I now drag down.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. So you now drag down. It's all right.
So, but what I'm saying now is, even after maybe you've displayed it, maybe you've compute all your work, maybe without a serial, all those numbers, maybe you can like refresh a new work with that numbers with it that way.
Okay, what supposing you now have maybe now if you have this kind of data on the sheet, if you have this kind of data now and there's no serial number, what you just have to do is to select this whole column. Select this whole column, right click, then click on what? Insert. Okay. So insert is going to insert a new column here for you so that you now insert your serial number.
So now you now do that method that you're saying. That method you just showed me now.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
I get it, sir.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So you understand now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So at least we've been able to attend to the 2 questions you have, but they are very, very important questions. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I get it, sir.
All right. So Suleiman, are you there? Do you have any question? Okay. Suleiman, let me know if you have any question before I end this class. All right. So since there's no question, I'm going to be ending this class now. Okay.
Okay.
So
sir.
I have a gift for us by tomorrow. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
So just please remind me. Then it's just that what we do, we train like corporate individuals. Supposing offices want people to be trained, we train them. So why we are doing this free is so that you help us spread the gospel. Supposing there's anybody that's interested in training, okay, it's going to be comprehensive. It's all right.
Okay.
So you already have our numbers. You can always contact me. It's okay. So with that said, I think we'll end the class. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
All right.